It's the time to get down.
All right, I think it's that time.
Times are a-changing, but some things stay the same. You start each morning with a cup of coffee every day. Maybe hit the snooze, turn on the local news, but nothing good comes from a one-sided point of view. Marijuana for dummies. Come for the info, stay for the reefer. Marijuana for dummies. Come for the info and stay for the reefer.
That's right, marijuana for dummies. And I apologize because, you know, initially it was a joke, the title of this segment, Marijuana for Dummies. I attempted to switch it, and then people didn't really like the other stuff. So we added some titles. We say Marijuana for Dummies, and thanks to Vic, who's the creator of so many of the slogans here at Pack Stereo TV, we added Resisting the Miseducation of Marijuana. So that's what we do. We're here to give you the education of marijuana as things are moving forward. So before we go, let me tell you what I'm having Happy's Pot. Now, okay, so Happy's Pot, that's what I'm having today because I looked up this morning and I was out of believe, and I'm never, you know.
Okay.
Okay, but I have a bunch of weed and a bunch of, you know, a bunch of hash and and then I got a bunch of extra. I got a lot of weed stuff. Okay,
Right.
and so no shortage of supply. So I've been smoking Happy's Pot today, which is in my dispensary told me an indica, but so I go look it up online, and here's some pictures of it. Happy's Pot strain, because you know what happens is every dispensary is allowed to grow and distribute their own product, Dick. And so a bunch of them have their own strains, many of which they name with weird names, Star Booty,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
crazy stuff, you know,
Right.
Roach Clip, you know. They have all kind of names, but some of them become famous
Right.
because they're of the popularity and because the fact that so many of these marijuana breeders are putting expert really work into the cultivation of these strains. So I'm having Happy's Pot today, which they claim at my dispensary to be an indica. But if you look here, what they're saying online is that it is a sativa. It's a hybrid that's more sativa dominant, they say. Well, I can tell you I feel it it hits. Now, one of the things I've been speaking on regularly is that for those of us who have been smoking, and especially for those of you who have not and now are starting back, this is way, I say it almost every show, and I add a bunch of ways, right? I said way stronger marijuana than you've ever smoked. You used to talk back in the days about one-hit wonders. Now, that's why you have to be cautious. When you try these things, the weed, you have to be cautious about the amounts you do. And again, I caution you about the edibles because they have a delayed effect, sometimes up to an hour.
Right.
Okay? And so you can overdose quite easily. But I am having the Happy's Pot. I'm recommending it. You know, top of the line stuff. People keep asking me, what am I spending? And I'm spending about $200 for an ounce. And that's last time I spent $200 and I got an ounce and a quarter.
Right.
Plus a free edible. So that shows you what it's going for today. Now, people say, well, I say, well, no. I say, well, there's a lot cheaper weed. There's weed that's less than half of the price of that. That's the top shelf.
Right.
That's like the best weed in the store. When I go in there, I tell them, give me the two best, usually it's 2 to 3, sometimes up to 4 of the best marijuana in the store. In the store. And they get to choose it for me. So this is the top shelf. Now for those of you on a budget, that means you can get some stuff that's literally half the price of that. Okay? You can get an ounce of weed really for $100.
You I think you already addressed Emil Bonte had something about in reference to edibles, but I think you already addressed it. In the last
questions he had asked?
he had some good questions about it because he was going, okay, wow, the experience and time, I think from ingesting, and then, wow.
He was asking about some of his friends and what he had observed them occurred with them. Okay. And the main thing I told him was, dude, it's erratic in terms of the effects having that effect on you. It's somewhat erratic. Right. And so you do have to be careful.
Yeah. Okay.
But the big news has to really do with what's happening in California. Because it is November, and believe it or not, you're less than like a month and a half away from recreational marijuana becoming the rule of the day here in California. Mm-hmm. And that's going to cause a bunch of stuff. Now, what's amazing to me is that I don't see, and maybe they're just not telling us yet, I don't see what the plans are in California to deal with this, okay? We know that they had released some of the licensing stuff because what people needed to do. But that still doesn't leave us, with the answers, the hard answers, over the same issues that we're seeing in Las Vegas. Right. The transportation of weed, the tax, how it's going to be taxed. One of the fears is that the price of marijuana, Vic, will go up because of the taxes. Even though one of the things that's a big deal is black market marijuana. By that I mean, what about the people who've been growing weed and selling it all along who are not getting a license?
Well, if I'm hearing this correct, there are more, I don't know how the price is going to go up when they say there are more providers than people who are indulging based on what they're seeing now. In other words, there's so much development that there is not this overwhelming engagement of indulgent. And I'm going, so where were the price points on this be at? Since they said, well, we got more than what people are asking for.
Exportation, that's what they're talking about. California is going to be exporting marijuana to the whole world. It's already It's already theorized that we provide up to 80%, depending upon who you're reading. Right. Of the marijuana in the country.
What does that tell you?
Being grown here in California.
What other state would there be? I mean, when you think about it, you go, okay, just name the top 3 states that you would know economically will possess the power to distribute. What would be California? Who else? What? Oregon? What?
They don't seem to have the political power, right?
So
and why you have the other states where it's illegal recreational right now. Washington State, right? Yeah. Oregon, it's legal right now,
right?
On a smaller scale, but they supposedly are making enough money from the taxes to really fund some of the things that are going on. So either way, you're going to have to deal with more choice. We're going to see what the taxes are going to be like here in California, but also the fact that black market marijuana is going to be around. And the only issue is the price points, right? Because corporate farming of marijuana had been expected, right, to drive the cost way down. But they didn't count on the fact that California may tax the marijuana enough to double the price of an ounce.
Right.
Double it.
Yeah, operating costs, profit. Everybody's bundling already,
if you think that I'm overstating it, think what we do with cigarettes right now.
Right.
I was told that a pack of cigarettes right now is about $12 here in Los Angeles. I know that in the United Kingdom it was over $20 a pack.
Wow.
So the cost of cigarettes, it's okay?
Oh, man. Okay.
So marijuana. So anyway, that's the thing we're looking for. I'm hopeful, and I've spoken extensively in the past. I'm hopeful that we'll come up with a system of marijuana lounges that is similar in some ways to what's available in Amsterdam. I'm kind of old school. I really don't want people walking down the street with a joint.
Right.
On the other hand, if you're in the park with your old lady, and this I observed this in Amsterdam. You know, they're out there picnicking, right, with the wine, the cheese, and the fruit.
Right.
If they choose to light up a joint, I think that should be illegal. Certainly should not be a criminal offense, but that's the part we have to deal with as society. I think, at least initially here in the U.S., we're not going to want any public consumption. But that's not the way it is in the other countries, okay?
Right.
They do smoke, Vic, at the park, but people just aren't as blatant. They seem to have more of a manners kind of a thing
So
going.
what you trying to say? USA Americans don't got no manners? What you trying to say, man?
I'm saying there are people I know who can't wait to light up a joint and walk down Crenshaw. They can't wait.
So all of Americans
That's what they
represented
want.
by Crenshaw.
No, I'm just saying.
What
a
about
bunch of
Sunset?
it.
Okay.
Sunset too.
Sunset Boulevard.
You know, it ain't just the black people, white, everybody.
Wall Street.
They want to get that weed and go out on the street.
Wall Street.
New York,
How would they be walking?
down the street with a joint.
And
Do
a
we
trench
want?
coat.
I'm not sure we want.
And
we
wait a
want
minute, wait a minute. A trench coat and a
Oh,
joint,
God.
man. Come on.
Do we want that? That's the issue.
What would you rather have? In the park, chilling, dogs all around, cats all of a sudden going, ooh, a contact eye.
Well, you know what's so interesting, Vic? We don't think anything of someone sitting in the park and having a glass of wine.
That's right.
Right? We don't think anything of that. They can sit with their old lady, break open a bottle.
Right.
Marijuana has to achieve its rightful place sort of like that.
Right.
It has to. You can't. To me, I go like, it's so hypocritical. You can walk around with a bottle of wine, go get some, and go, boom, here I am, let's share this.
Right.
And weed is going to be the same way for a bunch of people. No. Vic, we're going to have to deal with this. That's why I'm suggesting.
Right.
The lounges. The lounges are places that you can legally go inside
Right.
and consume marijuana, like the coffee shops in Amsterdam. I'm suggesting something like that here.
Right.
That way, at least as an interim initially, and then as an ongoing thing too. But at least initially, we can have places where people can go. Try as we attempt to deal with the public displays of marijuana use.
Okay.
Because that we don't have consensus.
Right.
And I admit that. And I'm old school. Which means I'm suffering from hypocrisies.
Because what
You
you're
like to keep stuff in the closet, the old school. I mean,
Right.
you rather do it at home behind closed doors.
Right. Right. No, I understand. First of all, I can see where you're going, where old school going, because even when people out here was trying to be like born free, be nude on the beach, that didn't last. Old conservatives said, I can't stand looking at these people with their
Wonderful
clothes off.
example.
I can't take it. Do it at home,
We
right?
all don't agree.
Right.
Like we can't agree on breastfeeding.
Right.
Now we going to agree on marijuana.
I'm only saying,
I'm
man.
serious. We can't agree. Half of y'all follow out and get insulted if a woman breastfeeds her child in public. So
You know what?
I can imagine what you think about weed, but I bet you there's some people who are against that who want the weed public.
So let me just say this. Let me show you. Progress sometimes does not progress. So there was a time when the American Indian would sit around outside, share the customary smoke, dress, more revealing. The African tribes do it to this day. It seems like they've grown accustomed to standing in traditional ways without having to worry about the community of abuse. And here we are, so advanced as a culture, and we don't know what the fuck to do when somebody dresses. Oh my God, go home, don't do that. Don't drink that out in the street, don't smoke that. This is in the name of progress, right? Wow, let me just try to figure this out. Why do we have an acceptance of other cultures that are not considered progressive, but they have traditions and they accept it? You can go watch them shoot an African tribe in the name of discovering their history. Women all around hanging out, nude, but they put it in a contextual, in a way that you go, it's about their culture. And here we are, wonderful progressive. I call us Americans. And we go like this. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking too hard. Because you're a heathen. Because you haven't been
are a
taught.
heathen.
You're a heathen. That's why. Get over it.
And shaking your hips
Right.
in a heathen rhythm.
You're a heathen.
We know Mac McAllister. Well, just so you know that in the chat room, Mac is telling us that the pot shop in Po Town is closed down. It's got to be another one, Mac. You know, it's got to be another one. He used to be down the street from his house.
Yeah.
Mac McAllister, the G&M bureau chief. Now, of all the things he's worried about, he's not worried about the weed being strong as shit,
Right.
you know, knocking us on our ass.
Right.
He's worried about the fact that they used to give him the munchies, and because he's worried about his weight,
Right.
he doesn't want to smoke weed. And I told him, I said, they have weed that don't give you munchies.
Right.
Mac, now they got all kind of traits they're growing the weed for. And like I said, you've been around me.
Right.
You know, I've been smoking like a, chimney. And I don't, have you ever seen me with the munchies?
No. I think everybody, first of all, it's really about the individual. And I think people like to use the reason why they want to do it. I know people who drink go like this. Oh, that makes me more relaxed. I get more aggressive. You even adopt it when you go, back in the day, I couldn't wait to give a woman a nice glass of wine. She says, why?
Yeah, we always
because
wanted,
I wanted that inhibition to
they
just
would
come
ask
about.
for
Right.
it.
So you
Yes.
already, you know what you want from this.
everybody wants a drink so they can let loose, give me a drink.
Right.
And they're like, that's the theme, but you go like, oh shit.
Right.
Give me a drink.
Give you a drink. So
Especially with folks who don't drink
Right.
say that,
right.
oh, Lord.
I wish it was required that everybody had to have a video at 3 times of their life when they're about 17 or 18 thinking about drinking or smoking. And they're somewhere in their mid-20s going close to 30 when they've already indulged in it. And then the one that gets you where it looks like they don't know who they were when they're 50 and having these staunch opinions about, oh, this is terrible. I don't know about this community. I don't know about this. And just have that time lapse go over and you realize sometimes you get caught in a time warp. And sometimes you just don't know the person who you were back in the day. Or you just like to forget. I love
Well,
it.
it is kind of like that. I mean, personally, you guys, because I was a physician, I basically kept my marijuana use on the down low for years, even though I did smoke. Let's say I had a party, right? But they would all be upstairs in my bedroom, right?
Yep.
I wasn't smoking weed down in the party.
No.
No, I was on the down low with my marijuana use for years. And I started in medical school.
Yep.
I really started smoking weed in medical school and continued to use it. So it was a thing I hid. It wasn't until I retired, essentially, from medicine that I became willing to be a representative and talk about it. Hence the beginning of this.
Right.
Which also I have to add, Victor Allen.
That's wrong. That's just wrong.
Because they need to know.
Right.
That Victor, okay, it's not like even when I have that shows you the essence of a partnership, right?
Yeah.
When either one of us has an idea, offers the other one
Yep.
who makes it go to something. So I was playing around with the weed shit, and Vic reminded me of the duties of the people who would be paying attention to me as Dr. Hemsley, wanting the information on weed. It was like, wow, I was like, damn, for a non-smoker. He had particular ideas as it related to this segment, the Marijuana for Dummies, and reminded me of the empowerment. That's the word you often use.
Yeah.
Empowerment, enlightenment
Yeah.
of the masses. And so...
Did you ever see an exercise in all the years beforehand about smoking just cigarettes and somebody illuminating their experience? What happens when they're around people? What happens to them physically? Some of the ways that it used to be judged that was a glamour thing way back in the 30s and 40s. And then their personal experience as it relates to their indulging in smoking cigarettes and how often they want to smoke it. What makes them click to that point of saying, this is when I will? Do they ever think about that they're in a community or around people where the smoking may or may not affect them? Have you ever seen a video where somebody's actually trying to empower you with the lessons of their personal experience and what it means? I haven't seen one yet. Not yet.
Well, speaking of what, let me bring you the trailer of Reefer Madness.
Yeah, okay.
This is crazy. This is Creative Commons now.
Circa, now what, 1936 or something?
Yeah.
Innocently they dance. Innocent of a new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell. In this film, you will see the ease with which this vicious plant can be grown in your neighbor's yard, rolled into harmless-looking cigarettes, hidden in an innocent shoe or watch case.
If you want a good smoke, try one of these.
You will meet Bill.
It's that collar that's got him
pride in
jacked
his
up.
strong will as he takes the first step toward enslavement.
Debauchery.
Of course, if you're afraid.
That looks like some debauchery.
Smoking the soul-destroying reefer, they find a moment's pleasure, but at a terrible price. Debauchery,
That looks like some debauchery.
murder,
Ooh, look at that position.
suicide, and the ultimate end of the marijuana addict. Hopeless insanity.
Is this like that hopeless
See
insanity?
this important film now, before it is too late.
Tell your children. Hide your wife. Hide your kids.
That's wrong.
Hide your wife.
Okay.
Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Times are a-changing, but some things stay the same. You start each morning with a cup of coffee every day.